Hello, brave adventurer, and welcome. The oceans of RuneScape are evil, and no, I'm not joking. The most sinister tales ever told in RuneScape are now playing out in front of our very eyes. Old School RuneScape's first new skill was finally released, and it's all the community can talk about.
Why are people saying it's live? Don't make me shit myself. That's it. I need to lock the ruck in. I need to lock the ruck in right now. I need to lock the ruck in!
The race to 99, the new items, skilling methods, all the new resource areas, all of which are welcomed additions to the game. The thing that I couldn't stop thinking about though was where the story of sailing was taking us. I had hints, suspicions, even an educated guess if you'd like to call it that. And I'm happy to say that Old School RuneScape is going to be facing off against a threat that dwarfs the God Wars and makes the Falador Massacre look like playtime. I have my sneaking suspicions that something deep in the ocean is coming for your soul, and as for the citizens of Gelinor, you will not be able to save them. With the release of Sailing on November 19th, there were 4 new quests introduced into the game. The first one was a tutorial for the sailing skill itself, called Pandemonium, which essentially teaches us the basics of the high seas. The second quest is called Prying Times, which teaches us some more advanced functions of sailing and how to interact with the scenery in the ocean. Nothing too evil so far, right? In the third quest, we enact regime change on the city of Catherby with a literal fish we purchase from a shady guy on the beach, who we install as mayor. It does require a fair bit of paperwork to do so, but surprisingly few questions are asked about why a fish is now mayor. This quest teaches us how to track the currents around Gelinor to gain experience and generally find our way through the ocean. After this quest is complete, it's time to spend many hours at sea alone with our thoughts, until we level to 45, and then begin our true exploration of what Gelinor's oceans have to offer. On a small desert island at the bottom of the world, the true stakes of the new sailing skill are presented. One of the sentient races of this region are the Tortuga, humanoid reptilian turtle people. And on this island is one of these cute creatures, but upon reaching conversation distance with this being, my heart ran cold. The entire right arm was missing from the elbow down and was now a mutilated bloody stump. In shock and alone, I knew that this creature needed my help or it would die. After a conversation, I got a rough idea that this creature was attacked, betrayed, and tossed into the ocean to die. It also even kind of sounded like it was being tossed to something in the ocean. In our attempt to save this poor creature, we agreed to take it back to its village on the nearby island of the Great Conch in the Unquiet Ocean. The Unquiet Ocean is a beautiful, expansive body of water to the south of the Caridian Desert and Asgarnia. It is inhabited by many islands and has a rich history of trade, innovation, and even piracy. Piracy is far less common in the modern age due to the civilized nature of many nations of Gelinor, simply seeing piracy as barbaric. It is interesting though that the hub of modern pirate activity is relatively close to the place we found our Tortugan friend. I wonder if there is a connection between the attack and the barbaric nature of these reclusive sea bandits. When we arrive at the Great Conch, we are greeted by the elders of the Tortugans, thankful that I saved their tribe member, Flupa. At the end of the quest, we catch a glimpse at a passing by ship headed rapidly into the cursed archipelago. It is potentially even the group who harmed Flupa. The ship appears with red sails and closely matches the ships at the Red Reef Coral Company. A quest is currently in development as a sequel to this one, and while exploring the unquiet ocean near the Red Reef, I found what appears to be the base for the Red Reef Coral Company, containing many gruesome and peculiar artifacts inside, but currently it is unable to be explored on foot. The ship that we spotted during the quest was headed east into the Cursed Archipelago. What makes this particularly alarming is the fact that if one wished to pursue these people, you would be dragged under the currents into a watery black hell and tortured for all eternity. That's pretty strange, isn't it?
Let the many mouths of my Leviathan consume you.
What in the name of Saradomin is going on here? Well, let me tell you.
His arrival is inevitable.
Deep beneath the waves at the bottom of the world is an ancient sunken dragonkin temple, and the final ritual site meant to summon an eldritch horror into our world. It goes by many names, and you may have even encountered it in your adventures without even realizing it. The Pirate Quest series has several quests currently in Old School RuneScape up until the Great Brain Robbery. Well, with the Sailing update, they added the quest locations featured in the fully played out version of this quest series from RuneScape 3. Just south of Karamja, you will see a newly added island, Rock Island Prison, which is the location of which you visit during the Rocking Out quest. The main antagonist of this quest series is a pirate named Rabid Jack. He is already mentioned several times in the Old School RuneScape lore, as well as his underwater lair in the Cursed Archipelago. I believe that without a shadow of a doubt, the ship we saw during the Tortugan quest was one under Rabid Jack's control. I find it incredibly unlikely that this ship was just some random pirates, due to the fact that they're going directly into Rabid Jack's territory, and I doubt he would take this lightly. What I find to be the most unlikely thing is that random pirates have a way to protect themselves against the profane curse on the waters here in the Cursed Archipelago, as we know no ordinary boat can pass. We also know that in the Rocking Out quest, which is most likely coming to Old School, that Rabid Jack is always wearing red and his ship sails are red, so this definitely could have been his ship. Rabid Jack's name strikes fear in the hearts of men all throughout Gelinor for his ruthless villainy style, which is typically more manipulative than it is outright violent. He definitely will crush a skull though if he needs to. He prefers to be a puppet master more than an outright warrior, but is one of the most feared men on the sea for a reason. He is the mastermind behind the brain death rum epidemic. This drink is a favored spirit by the pirates of Gilinor's oceans for whatever reason. This rum is made from mind-controlling slug foreskin and piss water to slowly corrupt, kill, and mind-control the disgusting people who can stomach this drink. Ugh. During the Great Brain Robbery quest, we get a ton of information about Rabid Jack from some of the NPCs in his army. A high-ranking captain named Donnie tells us in a moment of gloating, "After we take the island, I'll have the boss haul your body to the temple, and never mind." Nope, I already heard it, dude. The temple he is referring to is known as Ulthven Creoth, which is now called the Cursed Archipelago. What we see on the map here is just the tip of the iceberg, as this place is an ancient sunken dragonkin temple. It is described canonically as, quote, "a city made of black stone where the screams are ever silent," Even the name Ulfin Kreoth is dragonkin for the Sunken Black. This ancient temple is the hub of all of the Blackstone Shadow Realm stories all throughout Gelinor, which of course includes the pirate story that we're talking about now, Desert Treasure 2, and the Blackstone Pillar. In my opinion, the Lasar Undercity gives us the biggest insight into what is potentially coming from the Cursed Archipelago. I already mentioned how it hints to it by talking about the city made of black stone. Well, a bunch of the environmental text that are displayed in the Lasar Undercity Shadow Realm during Desert Treasure 2 are shared with a particular boss on RuneScape 3. This is the Ambassador, and you fight him, you guessed it, at the Cursed Archipelago under the water. Even though Rabid Jack is the human behind all of this, he is not the highest guy on the pay grade. This dude was a dragonkin, but is now something else. He literally cut his own heart out and replaced it with black stone. I would be almost willing to bet my bank that after the Pirate Quest series plays out in 2026, we will be getting the Ambassador as an endgame boss here. It's already confirmed by Captain Donnie that this temple exists here. During the quest The Rum Deal, Captain Donnie threatens to, quote, "After we take the island, I'll have the boss haul your body to the temple," and, never mind. This is further confirmed when, during the invasion of Brain Death Isle in the Great Brain Robbery quest, Brother Tranquility confirms that Rabid Jack and his crew retreated beneath the ocean after we fought them back. And guess how this temple ended up under the ocean to begin with? He was once just a simple dragonkin priest who wanted to help free his people from the curse the Elder Gods had placed upon them to protect the Stone of Jas. He began to study ancient religious texts which spoke of a strange black stone, which seemingly had the unheard of ability to cleave the soul in two. He performed a horrific procedure on himself, cleaving out his own heart and replacing it with black stone. This operation changed him entirely into something else. He was, however, successful at ridding himself of the curse, but at what cost? While doing research for this video, I noticed something new and it really creeped me out. In the place where you hear the Ambassador's dialogue on Old School RuneScape, there is an item that you can obtain called the Blackstone Fragment, which is used during the Whisperer boss fight. Well, I noticed that it looks almost exactly like a human heart. I wonder if this is how the Whisperer gained her spooky new form. Perhaps it's even her heart. Almost everyone who has received the blessing of the Blackstone is a master manipulator. The Ambassador is even referred to as the Seven Heads of the Hydra. This is because he controls many different factions of pirates, priests, companies, and warriors all throughout the oceans of Gelinor, all with the intent on gathering the material necessary to summon Zautak. This, truthfully, is probably why the Red Coral Company seems to be involved somehow. Just another head of the Hydra. Beneath the waves of the archipelago, the Ambassador conducts a choir of the nameless damned from the Antiverse to bleed the world of joy and hope and to create the ultimate monument to suffering. The ritual is said to be musical in nature and beautiful to his ears. Ironically, all of the servants of Zautak see it as truly beautiful and throw themselves into the meat grinder for his sake willingly. They almost always think that they are doing the right thing, which adds to the sickening zealot vibe of the entire story. The best part of this tale is it all takes place in the 5th Age, meaning it takes place canonically during the events of Old School RuneScape, time-wise. It's not canon until it's in the game, right? With the addition of Rock Island Prison, we basically have the upcoming pirate story all but confirmed, and like many other pieces of content such as Araxor, While Gothic Sleeps, and Nex, Old School RuneScape has a great track record of taking RuneScape 3 content, making it even better, and then dropping it on us with a fury. We know that there are going to be several big patches for Sailing, and again, I hope just like they did with Varlamore, that it comes with a good quest series and some endgame PvM combat. My big hope though is that we don't have to fight stuff on boats. It's kinda janky, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe they'll fix it, but still. I know that a lot of people hope that Raids 4 doesn't have a sailing requirement on it, and hear me out, it might not. Before sailing was ever added, we got to the islands of Gelinor with NPCs, and right now we still can't sail into the Cursed Archipelago. This means that at some point we will probably have to befriend a person who can. In RuneScape 3, we access the Cursed Archipelago using a rowboat, or the actual ambassador fight, which you talk to a Fremennik lady who rows you out to sea and chucks you into the ocean. This would be a pretty easy workaround, but I'm curious what the community thinks. Do you hope that Raids 4 has a sailing requirement? The only thing that I would be dreading is them actually adding sailing to the bossing combat. That sounds like Butt Cheeks Jackson. I think it's pretty likely that Raids 4 will require a quest in order to do it. It's definitely been the gold standard for the last few years to put a quest requirement on endgame bosses, and I hope that they do this here. I'm kind of biased as someone who loves the lore though, so I'm sorry to my spacebar brothers. Now that the Varlamore saga has been concluded, this has become the next big hub of narrative for Old School RuneScape, and I hope that just like they did with Varlamore, they keep writing interesting characters, fun quest boss fights, and give us plenty of great rewards. Quests are definitely something that truly shines in our game and shows how unique the world of RuneScape is. My friends, I truly enjoyed sailing the high seas with you today, but it's time to dock and return to land. If you appreciated today's video, please hit that like button and subscribe for more RuneScape lore content you won't get anywhere else. Without further ado, Pride Slayer out.